A new study shows that many of Maryland's most significant sites from Harriet Tubman's life are in jeopardy of chronic flooding as sea levels rise, threatening the eastern shore.
The News 4 team's Jody Fleischer takes us there to see the impact as archaeologists rush to unearth more of Tubman's story before it's all washed away.
The beautiful wetlands and woodlands lining Maryland's eastern shore look a lot like they did in the 1800s, when Harriet Tubman navigated these marshes to help so many escape from slavery. Today, her influence throughout Cambridge is evident, from Tubman Street to the Memorial Gardens to her outstretched hand touching visitors at the Tubman Museum.
It makes me feel so good to talk about her.
Herschel Johnson grew up here, but says he didn't learn about her life and legacy until years later. Now he wants to make sure it's preserved for posterity and prosperity.
When people come here just to visit because of Harriet Tubman, they spend money at the restaurants, at the hotels. She's very important.
Right across that field.
Alex Green makes his living as a tour guide, leading visitors along the Harriet Tubman Byway.
They're here for Harriet Tubman. They're here for a story.
From an old plantation where Tubman worked as a child, to a nearby general store, to a logging canal her father likely helped dig by hand.
I try my best to make them feel it. I try to give them that experience.
But Alex worries some of those experiences may be lost within our lifetime to rising seas.
You're practically sometimes riding along level with the water.
And it's going to get worse. This new report from Climate Central analyzes the elevation of 10 significant sites along the Tubman Byway. All of them face occasional, frequent, or chronic risk of flooding.
It's not looking great. The site is very much at risk of rising seas.
Karen Florini showed us the nonprofit's free online tool that helps track where the water is predicted to rise over time.
The blue is the current water level. Red is the land that will be below water level.
You can set the decade and choose how optimistic you want to be about cuts to pollution or even luck. The Tubman report predicts chronic flooding at Long Wharf Park, once a regional center for the slave trade, within 30 years. And it says land surrounding Stewart's Canal could be underwater within 10.
It's entirely possible that some of the sites are going to be so badly flooded that they really won't be very accessible to the public anymore.
Take a look at what this online tool shows for the historic Malone's Church. All of it bright red in just a few years. Out here in person, you can already see it with standing water underneath the building. After one day of rain, ditches along the narrow road are so full, navigating a tour would be impossible.
You kind of stay away from the dangerous spots that, you can't turn around.
It's also a problem for this team of archaeologists from Maryland's Department of Transportation, racing to unearth more of Harriet Tubman's story before it's gone.
As the water comes up, in this particular case, it's turning my nails into rusty clumps of artifacts that it's hard to identify.
Those nails and fasteners and brick are indicative of an old home site. Sifting through the brackish muck, the team has also found bits of plates, cups, and bowls.
This particular one's really interesting because the way it's scalped on the edge and the way it has that green pattern and the color, that's telling us that we're in that kind of 1830s or so time period.
The right time and location to suggest this is the land Tubman's father owned once he was freed.
Out of 1,000 holes we've excavated, this location seems to be the most likely place for Ben Ross's cabin.
But it wasn't easy to find. Down a long dirt road often covered with water.
We are in a bit of a rush against time because even certain times of the year when I'm out here, I can't always access a site.
The U.S. Fish and Wildlife Service just acquired the property last fall, a critical piece of the Blackwater National Wildlife Refuge.
We've seen over 5,000 acres of tidal marsh convert to open water.
He says as the seas rise, the site will become an island. You can already see the water creeping through the forests.
Those trees can't handle the salt, they can't handle the amount of water, they die, and it becomes a tidal wetland right in front of your eyes. And it is amazing how fast that happens.
Those ghost forests now dot the landscape where Harriet Tubman once hid and hid others along their journey to freedom.
We need to preserve this history.
Herschel and Alex know saving all of these sites from rising water seems unlikely, but if there was ever someone who defied the impossible,
She was one of the ones that really pushed against the odds.
In Cambridge, Jody Fleischer, News 4 I-Team.